Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today afternoon news for Monday, July 10. I am Mary-Claire Williams. With Barbados and the rest of the region facing an uphill battle in growing their economies, financial powerhouse China is stepping in to offer some help. Chinese ambassador to Barbados, Wang Qi, says the region should look outward to form more partnerships in an effort to tackle its economic challenges. In that regard, Wang Qi says China stands ready to assist. She was addressing a Caribbean Development Bank seminar at the Hilton Resort this morning on the topic Chinese renminbi in the Caribbean, opportunities for trade, aid and investment.
China is willing to promote exchanges and dialogues with the Caribbean to help regional financial and monetary institutions better understand China's financial policy and RMB products, and to discuss the feasibility of the methods on how RMB business can be operated in the Caribbean and the benefit expansion of our mutually beneficial cooperation in trade, aid, and investment. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, when opportunity knocks, please open the door.
The conference will explore the opportunities for using the renminbi, the Chinese currency, to facilitate trade, aid and investment flows between Beijing and the Caribbean in the first instance. It will also explore the associated costs and spin-off benefits. President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Warren Smith, says international trade must feature prominently if regional economies are to realize sustainable growth.
For the Caribbean to achieve its collective ambition to end poverty and ensure prosperity for all, international trade must be a central tenet of its economic growth strategy. China has itself successfully undergone major economic transformation built on the win-win strategy of opening up for common prosperity. It is that strategy that helps to explain the strengthening of China-Caribbean diplomatic ties and our increasing engagement in the areas of investment, contracted projects, and bilateral trade over the past 2 to 3 decades.
In other news this afternoon, the Barbados Bar Association says the death of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Charles Leacock, leaves a void in the legal profession. Leacock passed away in the U.S. on the weekend following surgery.
The profession is losing one of its more senior and eminent practitioners. He has been a servant of the people as DPP for over 20 years. I'm certain he will be missed in the profession, in his department, and our prayers and thoughts go out to his family in their time of loss.
The Barbados Legion is appealing for public support for its members through this year's Poppy Appeal. The call came yesterday from Barbados Defense Forces retired Lieutenant Colonel and Chairman of the Legion Council, Ver Springer, as he addressed the service for the Legion's anniversary at the St. Matthias Anglican Church. He says a number of the organization's 350 members are now living in destitute conditions. Springer thanked government for its support, but says more is needed from Barbadians.
Currently, the Barbados Legion, with a roll of over 350 persons, is made up of former World War II veterans and ex-members of the armed force services, be it from Barbados, the UK, USA, or around the world. With the funds we received from the Poppy League, we have been able to provide a small monthly allowance for some 26 indigent legionnaires. We also assist them with spectacles, toiletries, medicals, with minor repairs to their houses, and we also ensure the area around their homes are clean and tidy. With the funds collected from the Poppy donations diminishing each year, the Barbados government has had to provide the Legion with an annual subvention in order that we could carry out our program. We thank the government of Barbados for their continued support in these trying times. So I call on you to give generously when in November you are approached to make a donation for a poppy.
Meanwhile, Anglican priest Reverend Milan Springer wants a fair balance between time allowed for worship and work, and he wants trade unions to ensure that their members get the time to do both comfortably.
I have a problem with people working on Sundays who don't get a chance to go to work. Very big problem. I believe that the unions, in their wisdom, should establish something for worship. We have a shift system where the persons will go to church in the morning, and those who work morning will go to church in the evening. We are losing. And it's important that we as people spend some time away from our workload, giving God thanks. Sometime during the day, sometime during the night, we cannot go on, because we need that strength of God to take us through our daily worship, our daily lives, in our workplace, because this world is getting harder and harder to live in.
Sports now. West Indies have been fined for maintaining a slow over rate during yesterday's one-off T20 International against India at Sabina Park. David Boone of the Emirates elite panel of ICC match referees imposed the fine after Carlos Brathwaite's side was ruled to be 1 over short of its target at a time when allowances were taken into consideration. In accordance with Article 251 of the ICC Code of Conduct for Players and Player Support Personnel, players are fined 10% of their match fees for every over their side fails to bowl in the allotted time. The captain is fined double that amount. Brathwaite has therefore been fined 20% of his match fee, while his players have received 10% fines. Brathwaite could also face suspension if West Indies commits another minor over rate breach in a T20 International within 12 months of this offence with him at the helm.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for one here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Mom, are you still there? Oh, she put it down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In news from the region, one prison officer has died from a fire at Guyana's Camp Street prison after an uprising by inmates on Sunday. Police have issued wanted bulletins for 2 prisoners who escaped following the blaze. They are wanted for murder and escaping lawful custody. We get the details in this report from HGP Nightly News.
Pandemonium broke out on Sunday afternoon when prisoners reportedly ambushed prison officers at the capital offences section of the Camp Street prison, then set the place afire. It started around 4:45 p.m. An undisclosed number of prisoners escaped. The government has given assurance that the small number of escapees will be contained and that citizens should not be fearful of their continued safety. The prisoners have been placed in secure confinement at various locations and are to be relocated at the Mazaruni prison and other facilities. So far, there is no indication that a crisis situation exists. Several prison officers were reportedly shot and chopped by the escapees and were rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital for emergency treatment. The Camp Street prison is one of the few wooden prisons in the world, and from the experience of the previous prison riot there, it was clear that the buildings that house prisoners in this compound was a disaster in the waiting. The Minister of Public Health, Valda Lawrence, confirmed that 6 prison officers were injured when the unrest began.
And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump's son has admitted to meeting a Russian lawyer last year who he says promised to reveal damaging material on Hillary Clinton. But Trump Jr. insists that she provided no meaningful information on his father's rival for the presidency. The president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and the then campaign head, Paul Manafort, were also at the meeting. U.S. officials are investigating alleged Russian meddling in the U.S. election. That's news this afternoon. You can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can find us on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good afternoon.